Hello, everybody, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind presented by Yeti. Can't believe on the Luchador podcast there was somebody upset that we spell Luchador with two O's. Nick Savage, you're back from a while. How you been, buddy?
I'm great, man. Yeah, it's clearly a play on the Sorry, dude. I was working on something.
No worries. You want me to ignore you and go straight to Jared?
Yes, please. Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm an idiot.
It's all good.
Suck at my job.
3, 2, and uno. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Yeti. Good show today, because it's always a good show when the Aggies win and dominate. 7 more sacks. Jared Schultz there at the News and Social Center, brought to you by the Angry Elephant. Buddy, what was your favorite part of the show?
A slightly more positive OB. In past
slightly,
weeks, very slightly, but OB was a little bit more positive this week.
Yeah. So we did a recap with OB during the Go Hour, as we always do. Connor O'Gara joined us. It's been a minute since I talked to Connor. Great to have him on the program. Billy Liucci in studio for a couple hours. We love when Billy's here, and he set the scene for a mammoth. What's the word that Leanna likes to use? Massive, right? Massive is her word.
I'm not sure.
Thanks for listening when she's on. A massive game against Bama here on the TexAgs Rewind. That was the first time Max Johnson had thrown an interception, so I'm not necessarily worried about that. Let's get into 3 things we wanted to see. And do you remember what yours were?
I probably wanted to see a pass rush, and I did.
You got one.
I probably wanted to see good run defense, and I did. McKinley Jackson is a bad man. And Walter Nolan is. There may not be a better pair of defensive tackles in the country. I wish they played all the time. And then I probably wanted to see a clean game, and I didn't.
Yep. Well, I wanted to see forced turnovers. A&M did that. They forced some turnovers. I love the pick six. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean,
what is it about Arkansas and Chris Russell?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. So I wanted to see turnovers. I wanted to see deep passing on the Arkansas defense. I don't think we saw a lot of it. We did on that first touchdown. I don't know if deep is the right word to call it there, but
32 yards.
Yeah, I wanted to see some deep throwing, and I didn't call it sacks. I called it continued pressure, and I think it was definitely continued pressure
on
KJ Jefferson.
Yeah. It was sacks. It was continued pressure. It was an assault. It was an assault. It was KJ Jefferson was a pig pinata.
Yes. Yeah. He was getting hit
everybody,
from every angle.
Everybody was taking a shot at it, and Edgerrin Cooper was the one that broke it.
I also asked when we did bank on it, I banked on Le'Veon Moss having another 100-yard. Well, he came close, but he goes over 100 yards. And did he?
He did.
Oh, my gosh. Look at that.
How about that?
When I'm wrong, I don't bring it up.
You're a savant.
Well, again, you don't bring it up when you're wrong. You only bring it up when you're right.
I don't even remember what mine was, or if I had one.
Was it Chappelle, or am I making that up?
No, I don't know.
Huh.
I don't remember.
You had a bank though.
But that's a probably, I don't know. I have no.
I feel like I've watched 2 different teams this year. I saw a team for the first part of the year, and even in the wins, that couldn't get to the quarterback, and now they live with the quarterback. They're like with them step by step. What do you think of this transformation of the Aggie defense?
Yeah, I think it's a few things. I think the transition to becoming that group that realizes it needs to do that has been really important. And I think that if you saw the way that things played out against Miami and some of the things that they were trying to do defensively, you kind of realize that their corners were being put in some really tough spots, and they weren't really equipped to handle that. And they have recognized we need to get that pressure. If we don't get that pressure, we're not necessarily good enough on the outside to be able to keep this thing afloat. And to their credit, they were able to do that. That Arkansas offensive line might be coached by Sam Pittman. It might be the worst in the SEC. It is that bad, which is just a wild thing to think about in year 4 in Fayetteville. So 15 tackles for loss, all credit to A&M. All credit. They had the clear advantage, and Arkansas fans have had it up to here with that offensive line. So that's probably the context that needs to be remembered when you look at that performance and the way that group played on Saturday.
All right. But then we looked at what they did against Auburn, and I don't think Auburn's any good either. But Auburn just went toe-to-toe with Georgia, who's supposed to have the best defense. So did Auburn figure things out, or did A&M's defense just got people figured out right now?
Yeah, I think Auburn is a much better team at home. I think they were very fired up for that, and that offensive line played much better in the game plan, the way that things were drawn up by Hugh Freeze. I think both things can be true at the same time. I think A&M has done better things up front to be able to get to the quarterback, and they are scheming in ways that clearly have some of these SEC offenses off balance, and that's the good news, and that's the thing that you can kind of hang your head on. But at the same time, if I'm projecting how I think this is going to look the rest of the way, I still think it's going to be a little bit Jekyll and Hyde with the defense.
Max Johnson coming out, and I thought really, and Bobby Petrino, like that duo with the play calling and design and the aggressive approach, David, early, down 3-zip, they get the ball, super aggressive. You know, the deep shot, I heard you wrestling with whether it was a deep shot or not. It's a deep shot. You know, like the shot over the top of the defense, let's call it. To me, any of that is a shot down the field. And they took that on I think it was 3rd and 4 there. And it wouldn't have been an easy chip shot field goal from that spot. But they went for the bundle. And Max fired it up. Evan made an amazing adjustment, sped up to run under that thing for the walk-in touchdown. I thought that set the tone for the whole game. Was A&M on their early possessions and how good Max was to open up that game. I thought he really set a tone early that, hey, Arkansas, KJ Jefferson, you guys are going to have to score to keep up with us today, not the other way around. And that's what I love about this offense right now. But what I really love about it, David, is it's not just offensively, but this whole team. They're doing every single thing differently than they did at Miami. Every single thing differently in these last few weeks. And on offense, those things are protecting the quarterback. It's getting Aniyah Smith involved. It's running the football with success. And yeah, it wasn't perfect, and they do still need to clean up the pre-snap stuff and things like that. But again, I think it's wrong to sit there and go, you're not going to be able to beat anybody doing this. And for us to keep harping on it and crying about it, we all know that a litany of mistakes will get you beat in the SEC.
They set up the showdown.
They did.
And you had your shot against Miami to do something. Your shot this weekend is actually bigger and more significant than anything you could have done, at Hard Rock Stadium earlier in the year. So now you've got an opportunity to do something way more meaningful and significant, and that is beat Alabama for the second time in 3 years, be the first team since A&M joined the SEC in 2012 to beat Alabama 3 times. I believe that would be accurate, unless Auburn's done it. To be the first team to beat Alabama 3 times. Each of the last 2, I wish they could have gained 1.5 yards against Bama last year, because you'd be looking to beat Nick Saban 3 times in a row. But more importantly than all of that is you have a chance to go 3-0 in the West and essentially take a 2-game lead over Bama, because you'll have the head-to-head.
Yeah.
That is a massive opportunity in front of A&M Saturday. You could be the headline of college football coming out of a weekend where going in, you're probably the number 2 storyline behind Texas OU. And they're both undefeated. We'll talk Horns in a minute, but it's A&M Bama. Then comes, Kentucky, Georgia, probably right up there.
Yeah.
But if A&M wins that game Saturday, they're going to be the talk of college football.
No doubt.
You got a great, and not only that, but then you've set yourself up to maybe be the biggest game in the country next week, because Tennessee's got a bye. So they're not going anywhere. They're coming in ranked whatever they're going to be ranked, maybe a couple spots higher, and Texas A&M's going to come in. Texas A&M's going to come in on fire at that point if they're able to win Saturday. So you have a chance to be the game of the week in college football essentially 2 weeks in a row where that spotlight's squarely upon.
All right, you know what to do. Tell them, Jared.
Like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss any of the TexAgs radio content. Turn the notification bell on. And am I missing one?
I think that's plenty.
That's it.
Just subscribe already, all right? You guys have been watching.
We're at
long
11K
enough.
now, so keep bumping the numbers up.
Well, I mean, if it takes us 2 months to get to 12K, I'm going to be upset. And I'm coming after you. It's TexAgs Rewind.